I mean, some very good things and some not so very good things. But it's an exhibition game. Obviously, you know, we're playing small. We had a couple bigs that hurt, and we put in a couple of the small lineups this week, and we were still rebounding the ball fairly well. So, hey, Joe, thanks for coming. So we thought, you know, you're going to get certain things out of it. I think it's probably the first time. I think we had 17 assists, only 7 turnovers. So that's an upside of playing small. You're concerned about rebounding and them posting us up. They did a decent job on the post-ups. I told the guys afterwards, we always, the term we use is the good, the bad, and the ugly when we watch the film. There was some very good things, obviously. Scoring 96 points, I don't care who you're playing, it's a good thing. The bad is we gave up 80. The ugly will be a couple of the plays in the middle there. You know, we came out of timeout, and my heart almost came out of my mouth when I screamed because half of the guys were in zone, half the guys were man-to-man. But that's what happens early in the season sometimes. And it can happen. You want to make those mistakes now so we don't continue to make them when it matters. I thought, you know, offensively, it was much more seamless when you're playing the way we played with the 4 guards. And I thought everybody played within themselves for the most part. And we picked each other up. You know, John had a rough night shooting the ball. There's going to be next one. John can't miss, we know that. And his teammates, the veterans, did a great job. These 2 guys, I think Branden Smith did an exceptional job playing. You know, if you want to number guys, I guess the 4 spot. You know, so we're talking.
You played really quick, up tempo in the beginning, quick passes, quick shots. Do you want to play fast now with the guards and
yeah, very much so. Yeah, we'd like to. You're not going to play slow with them. I mean, the advantage is when you do, there should be fewer turnovers whether you're playing fast or slow at the end. You know, I didn't want to. It's tough for me. Obviously, my relationship with Coach Massimino is like my father. So I was trying to win the game by 8 or 10, kinda, but not really, because you know, we got to learn how to win too. And at the end, I would have liked to run our delay game a little bit more and have these guys work on that. But you can really search out mismatches if teams continue to play big, and you're playing this way. And now with this new hand check rule, I mean, there were a lot of fouls called, and probably Eddie Corbett, who's the best referee in America doing the game, and he's a buddy of mine, he said, Tommy, there were a lot called, we probably could have called 20 more. So, I mean, you got to put the ball on the deck, you got to spread the floor, and we can do that with this group.
You mentioned John had a tough night shooting. Yeah. Can you talk about how, there was one point in the game where you pull him over and you tell him, let's see what I missed him. You tell him to keep shooting, and then on the other end of the floor, he looked pretty impressive defensively.
Yeah, I think I was telling him to get a hand up defensively, actually. I wasn't telling him to keep shooting. I don't think I ever have to tell him that. But, you know, you press, you know, sometimes when you miss a few, but you just got to, you know, he's still, the thing is, he's not a catch-shoot guy. He's not a, you know, he's not a guy that can just shoot the ball. He can put it on the floor and go by people, and then people are going to know about it, just like they do about Frazier, Mandell, and Branden Smith. And they're going to close out really hard on them. And when people do that, then you got to, you know, you got to punish them for that and go by them. And I thought we did a pretty good job with that. I thought our bigs did a good job, for the most part, making catches off of penetration and scoring. They obviously were in foul trouble for the portion of the night, so that was one of the negatives.
Tom Pecora with 15 points after having the back issues earlier in the month. Yeah. How much more is he in the system?
Yeah, you know, Trey's got a great skill set. The thing that impressed me tonight about him, for you guys who were here a lot last year, think about it. Last year he couldn't even play 3 minutes without being exhausted. You know, he really made some effort plays. He blocked a couple shots late in his stretch, and we really look at playing him 4, 5, 6 minutes at a clip, depending on the pace of the game. I thought he got a couple big rebounds. He was gassed a couple times and didn't make plays that he could have made, but you know, I thought he did a pretty good job of the big guys. You know, he had 6 rebounds, and you know, and I thought that was pretty good. I mean, Branden Smith had 10 rebounds. That's good stuff. But yeah, Trey was great. I mean, the free throws.
Going back to the hand check and the new rules on fouls, with the bigs in foul trouble earlier tonight, how much more concern is that going to be as the season goes on?
Well, I don't know. You know, once again, I don't think, I'm going to watch the tape, I don't think a ton of the bigs fouls were on hand checks. I think there were a couple plays where they were battling in the post, they got lazy and they brought their hands down. This new rule, you know, is supposed to be about perimeter play and guards hand checking man. You know, every year they talk about cleaning up post play, and as someone asked me the other day, it was in an article, I said, you know, They call it November and December, and then in February it's hand-to-hand combat. So is this rule going to go in that direction, or are they going to stay the course, and are they going to really punish guys for putting their hands on people? It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Is starting 4 guards something that you might look to do more often?
Yeah, without a doubt. Why not? Brian Smith just had 10 rebounds. Who had 7 here? John had 7. You know, I think if we team rebound, we're okay. A lot of teams are playing small, and the upside of it, once again, is you don't really have to worry a whole lot about pressure. You don't turn the ball over as much. You know, we talk all the time, offense, doesn't matter what sport it is, offense is about spacing. Defense is about taking space away. Offense, you want to create space. Defense, you want to take space away. So by having these guards on the floor, we create great space because they can all shoot threes. That should be good for our post guys, and it also should allow them to drive the ball. And defensively, we're always talking about how can we take space away. So it gives us good offensive space and wins out.
Talk about Brian Smith. Does he finally, is he progressing to the point where he realizes he doesn't have to score the ball? He can pass, he can rebound. He's doing now the little things rather than worrying about making the big 3 or making a shot.
But then at the end, I thought he made one in great
Yeah.
rhythm, you know. And look, he's a junior. Branden and Brian, I get on more than anybody because they're juniors, and I expect great things from them. And you know, that's just the way it is in my world. You can only be as good as your seniors. And in our case, we only have one that plays a bunch. Khalid's tremendous in practice, but you know, and Leo's a senior too, isn't he? So I mean, those guys really help out in practice a bunch. But because we have so few, I also look at Brian. You know, I think Ryan Canty is such an emotional player. It's hard, you know, for him to do the little things. And you know, obviously you can see I'm not a forward. So I think the game like a guard. I've always said guards think the game, forwards play it. And that's why when you have those guys out, these guys out there thinking about what to do, it's good.
Mandell, talk about your aggressiveness, attack the rim mode today. Talk about how you just went in attack mode and just got and ones and attacking the rim all night.
Well, I think the coaches always tell me to be more aggressive. My jump shots been falling lately, unfortunately today, and didn't, so I had to find another way to score, so attack it.
Branden and Mandell. What do you guys see in John early on, just in practice now in this exhibition game? What do he looks poised on the floor, and he didn't get rattled too much. He kept shooting the ball. What do you guys see in him that makes him potentially a big player for your team?
I mean, like Coach was saying, like he's a scorer, he's always going to shoot. I mean, he's a big time player, so like that's what we need him to do. We need him like to score the ball for us and play defense or rebound and things like that. And he has that ability to bring that every night. So that's what we look at him. Like, we're not looking at John like, oh, he's a freshman. We're looking at him, John Severe, he can do this, and that to help our team win. So we hold him accountable for it every day.
Same thing with Trey. He attacks. That's what we need more of our guards to do. It's the hardest thing for him is really fast, so I think the attack ball, shoot the ball, drive a kick, a lot of potential for anything, so that's a plus for us.
You guys look like you've added on some muscle, particularly. Are you guys going to be more physical this year?
Yeah, Coach will appreciate getting us in the weight room and getting stronger, things like that. I mean, it's going to be a long season, so just got to get ready to be stronger and take it as minimum. It's going to show in the games.
Branden, 23 tonight, 7 rebounds. Seemed like you have more of a killer instinct tonight than maybe some games in the last year or two. How much more have you worked on asserting yourself and leading by example this offseason?
Just a lot, just talking to the guys and just being like the leader. I'm not them like yelling, Sean and Smith just follow me, just know that all the guards should just be aggressive. Coach also preaching for the guards that rebound. I know we saw the 4 guards today, so I just thought I should crash a little bit more.
It was nice. Thank you. Always should crash.
So, the focus is just being aggressive. Last year, so we got great.
John, you played 34 minutes tonight. How are you feeling? What are your thoughts about this game?
I think we weren't in practice, so I was in shape. So I just couldn't make a shot. I tried to just keep playing the game.
Talk about your comfort with the offense. You're freshman. You're playing big minutes. Talk about how getting with Frazier, getting with Mandell, getting with Trave, and Ryan, and working together as a team. How's that coming along?
It's coming along good. Like in practice, like everything. I think we make practice harder than the game. So then when the game starts, I just feel more comfortable. I know everybody how they game is, so it's just more comfortable.
I know it was your first college game, but you just looked relaxed out there. How relaxed were you out there tonight?
I was like I think practice. I go to practice hard. Like I think if I go hard in practice, then I guess the game should be easy. So I was just comfortable. Like I'm home, so I guess I ain't had no worries.
And Coach, what's for practice? Not for practice, but what's for the goals for next week? Practice and big game. You expect this to be a packed gym next week?
Yeah, that'd be nice. I mean, I think that we gave them off tomorrow. We go to football game, the treatments in the afternoon. We're doing practice. We're going to practice Sunday morning. We have our tip-off dinner Tuesday night. PJ Colosimo's the honorary, so that'll be a lot of fun. And it's a great way to get off and start the season on the right foot, I think. We got a lot of work to do. I enjoy going to practice every day with these guys. And in spite of what our record was last year, I went through the summer knowing we were going to have great improvements. Obviously, with the addition of John and the other freshmen, but just knowing how hard these guys have worked, how hard Brian and Mandell and Frazier and Trey, and Trey is down like 90 pounds. I mean, think about that. It's just, that's commitment. So I feel good about it.
How important was, you lost to them 2 years ago, how important was it to get a win in exhibition and get on the right foot before Friday?
And look, 2 years ago they played the national championship game. They were really good. They, on the NAIA level, I mean, they had a bunch of big-time divisional players, and they were a good club. But the thing is, look, Coach Massimino's, he's as good as it gets. So you noted that he devised a good game plan. He made us make adjustments throughout the course of the game, so it was good for us in that sense. Sometimes some schools just bring in programs and they're going to run up and down the floor, and you're going to have your 6'8" guys guarding guys 6'2", and it doesn't help you prepare. We try to search out teams that are going to make us better.
How's Ryan Kenny's? Is he all right?
Yeah, he's all right. He got an aching back, but he just got to stay out of silly foul trouble. When I look at the minutes, he's the one guy I'd like to get up. If we get Ryan up to around 15 minutes a game, then we'd have 7, 8. We'd have 8 guys playing double-digit minutes. That's what we need. We need him. We need him in the game. We need him to rebound. It's a tough matchup because they're big step away. So but he'll be okay. Cool. Thank you all very, very much. We appreciate it.